what's up, guys? Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear. What is up? What's going on?
Oh man, I'm a little starstruck right now, so you got to forgive me if I'm a little nervous. But no, I put that comment in earlier about the money I spent on gurus, but I still watch you guys every day, so I really want to just throw that out there and thank you guys. And anybody who's thinking about spending thousands on gurus, don't do it. Zach's preaching the truth.
I appreciate it, man.
You don't need it. I mean, honestly, I've got multiple courses that I can log in and watch the training videos and use the contracts, and I'm always going to your guys' stuff instead because I feel like it's better or easier to use, or so yeah, thank you guys. I wish I would have found you sooner.
That's okay. And I mean, hey, you get to talk to us for free too. And guess what? I'm going to let you talk to me for free one-on-one forever, evergreen. So you get what you pay for, Brian. And I think you're getting your value.
A lifetime evergreen. You guys realize those are commitments that actually God's going to fulfill, not them. So it's not really something you can advertise, because it's a lot of these coaching programs, they get sold and sold and sold and sold. And it's the new flavor of the month of who decides who wants to honor what.
We're going to hop on my funeral and be like, I didn't get my one-on-one call. What's going on?
I got multiple messages today. And if you guys are sending me this message and you're watching it, it's for you. And I want to help you out. If you message me or Zach and go, listen, how do I work with you guys one-on-one? Number one, we don't do it, and we're transparent and honest about it because that's a job, and I'm not trading my time for money. Number two, wholesaling is actually simple. If you just follow the procedures and stop trying to filter it that make it fit your personality, it works. I know a lot of people think they're going to tempt me with a one-on-one. I don't want your money. I am truly authentic about that. I don't want it. I'm going to help as many people humanly possibly get excited about wholesaling, get going and take action to get their first deal. And then if they want to go on the journey to get their first 100 grand, this is a piece of cake. That's me and Zach's mission. That's what we're going to do. So if you message us hundreds of times thinking I'll rise to the top, I treat everyone the exact same. If you have $1 billion or you're broke, I'm going to give you the exact same instruction.
Exactly. So how can I help you out, Brian?
Thank you guys for taking my call. So I guess probably my most pressing question is analyzing this deal that I'm going to meet the seller this evening when my wife gets home from work. And it's a little bit weird because it's a 2-1 in a neighborhood of mostly 3-2s. I'm only looking back 60 days on my comps. I'm in DFW area in Texas, and it was really inflated, and it's softening quite a bit. They're starting to see a little downtrend. So I'm only looking at 60 days back on the comps, and I think ARV is 150. I think I can get under contract for 120, which is about 80% ARV. But my question is, I don't know if that's deep enough to be assignable. Do you think if I should get it under contract at 120 and then go back and renegotiate? It is a good rental neighborhood, but again, it's a 2-1, so rent is only about $1,000 as is. It needs updating.
I mean, where are the repairs?
So it's in good condition. It's ugly. It's outdated, which is not uncommon for this area.
Okay. I mean, I hate to tell you, but can you go back a year and see in that area, like a quarter mile, what the renovated 2-1s are going for? And that would probably pull that back by 10, 15%. And that would be a good ARV. And then minus off how much it will cost to really do a full gut renovation of it. And that's how you can really figure it out. Because I'm thinking of either a landlord type buyer or a house flipper. And I kind of look at both of them, right? And so either I look at the house flipper and I can make that work, or it's all right, if I can rent for 1,100, sorry, 1,000, might have to put 20 grand and put it up to 12 to 1,300. Is it worth it? Right.
Right.
If 150 is the ARV, 120, if it needs repairs, is probably not going to be the best. My best guess, dude, is I would probably offer, I'm guessing 80 off the bat. And I would probably try to lock it up for around 100. That's my guess, because I think you're going to sell it for 110, 120. And they're going to have to probably put some work into it to make it worth 150. So you need to make money. The cash buyer needs to make money, and the seller has to be okay with it. So if you offer 80 and they counter at 120, you meet the middle at 100 and you make 10 or 20 grand. That's the best one to do.
Okay, so I'm going to meet him today. So I'm going to see the house for the first time. You think I should say, okay, it needs kitchen and bathrooms and whatever else I can find and use that to justify my really low number? I don't think he's going to go for it.
Well, have you given him a verbal offer, or has he already given you a number?
So I think I can get under contract at 120 based on our phone call, but I haven't met him yet face to face. He wanted to meet face to face, and it's only about 40 minutes for me. So I was going to go and try and build rapport and look at it and then use that to kind of negotiate down.
Well, Brian, have you conditioned them for a yes or no decision?
Yes, he said bring a contract.
Okay, good. So what you need to do on this deal, and so you don't sound confident he's going to go for 100, which is, whatever. Let me do this. This is the honest truth of what I'm going to do, because I know it's got to be a little lower. Whatever you see on that house, you're going to be very disappointed. All right. You're going to be a very disappointed person. Going to go there and be like, oh, man, this is a lot more work than I thought. And then you ask him for the price and he says 120 is the price, Brian. Mr. Seller, I was fully prepared to buy this thing for 120 today, but because of X, Y, Z, X to the fourth, whatever, it's going to at least need another 10 or 15,000. I know my partner, Rick, he's a stickler for these things. Like, he is the cost of everything. He's probably going to, I'm just being honest. He's probably going to come up to me and say, we got to buy this thing for like 85,000. Oh, I never do 85. That's him. He's crazy, right? I mean, what realistically works? This thing needs a lot of renovations. He's stressing out because interest rates are going up. He doesn't want to hold a property that's going to go down. What works for you? You go from there. Whatever you do, you got to be disappointed. And so whatever price he has, make him feel like you're not like scoffing at it, but be like, you know what? I was fully prepared for that price, but because of this, this, and this. I think that's gonna be your best approach.
So if I think I can do that. I think I can build rapport, and I think I can execute that. So if he's not willing to get it under contract for, say, 90-ish, you think I should walk, or should I get it under contract anyways and try and renegotiate?
Is it vacant?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So that's good. Because it's vacant, I'm liking this. All right. This makes me a lot more happier.
PropStream shows free and clear, though.
That doesn't mean anything.
That
doesn't mean anything. I could care less.
Okay.
So because there's a lockbox on it, that's always good. I like the lockbox. Honestly, thinking about this, I would not go into a contract knowing I'm going to renegotiate on it. There are other things you can do. So, for example, let's say he's stuck at 120. All right. So, no to saying I'm going to lock this up for 120, knowing I have to renegotiate. That's not good. That's not the right thing to do. What something you can do though is he's stuck at 120, stuck at 120, stuck at 120, stuck at 120. I had a hoarder's house. I was like this. Said, you know what, Mr. Seller, you can't do anything below that. No. Okay. You know what? We're going to do 120. But what I need to let you know is because these are very tight for me, I'm going to have to bring my handyman through. I'm going to have to bring probably a contractor through. I'm going to bring my partner through. We're all going to have to look at this thing with a fine tooth comb because you're at this higher price. Now, Mr. Seller, if we did 100, I'd probably bring I probably don't have to do any of this stuff, but because you're stuck at this price, we're going to have to do that. So I'm going to need a lockbox. I'm going to bring all of them through, and I'm really going to have to get my numbers very tight here. Oh, that's fine. Because all they care about is the price, right? Fine. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to probably bring 15, 20 buyers through that thing. And that's what you're going to have to do. And guess what you do when they're upset with you? Well, you locked it up for the price you wanted, so I get the terms I wanted, right? I get to bring 20 people through because you're stuck on that price. And if you bring 10 buyers through and they all tell you that I got to buy this thing for 110, now you can go back to the guy and say, hey, I brought it through because of this, and this. Your cash buyer said, I'm going to have to be at 100,000. I'm sorry, but I kind of told you before when you locked it up, it was very tight. And because it needed all these extra issues I didn't know about because I'm not the contractor, we're going to be at this price. That's the right thing to do.
Do I need to put that in the contract at all about needing access? Or do I get that automatically during my option period?
It's all in there.
all
What he's
verbal.
saying is because you got to go with a higher price.
Yeah.
So here's how I look at it. Sometimes a property's motivated, but the seller's not quite motivated. And I attack those with everything I got because sometimes we have to help the seller get out of their own way. But if say you had to enter in an agreement at like 110 to 120, whatever it is with them, and you're like, oh my God, this is 50-50 at best. Make sure you have terms like Zach said, so you have flexibility. You have longer inspection times, at least 30 days or longer. You cannot do 7-10 days. You have no shot on that offer on it. So what was he using this property before? Was it a rental?
So I just had the initial phone call with him, and he was being really weird on not revealing his motivation or how he got it or anything.
That's easy.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell, but I know that he's only owned it for 8 months.
Oh, okay.
Brian, ask him this. I know you bought this thing like 8 months ago. Like, why are you looking to sell it? Like, is there something I don't like? Are there termites on the property? Like, is there something like you're trying to do? Like, what's going on? And guess why? Because you pulled that out there, he now has to give you proof that there's no termites and give you proof of why he's looking to sell it. Because, my wife's driving me crazy. That's why I got to sell it. Because he has to prove to you why the house doesn't have termites now. And he has to give you his real motivation to prove why there's no termites. Termites are probably the worst case scenario, right? Or Chinese drywall. Is there Chinese drywall termites? I have to assume this if you're not telling me why. And now he's going to give you a real motivation. It works 9 times out of 10 for cold calling.
Yeah, I am always, listen, I bought properties from people that have owned it less than 6 months, but in wholesaling, I'm going to be brutally honest with you, it's a rarity.
Well, unless it's a probate.
Unless it's a probate or something like that. But
Yeah.
like a lot of people, sometimes they buy as an investor and they're like, you know what? I'm not good at landlording. This is a nightmare. I want to get rid
Did
of
he
it.
buy it?
So just make sure the story, is he the owner of record on it?
Yeah, and I'm thinking maybe it's a possible inherited house.
Yeah, see, that's good.
Okay.
I like those. As long as you would probably see in Dallas, it said sold like 8-9 months ago.
Yeah.
Was it sold on the MLS?
No.
So yeah, it's probably inherited. You just got to ask him.
So a couple tips on this. You're worried about like what price he's going to accept with you. Do not make an assumption. I've done this so many times and like screwed myself over. Don't make up in your mind he's going, the least he'll take 120 unless he said that's the least I'm going to take. So you have to leave yourself open. That's why I teach you to go for no. To get the yes, you got to go through no to get that counter. Number 2, sometimes when you get a property like that and they get stuck on the price and the property's run down like you think it is, I sometimes will use this technique. I don't use a lot, but like I don't see a lot of sellers. It's like, Mr. Seller, I tell you what, you get this place updated and do everything, I'll get you your 120. He's never going to do it. Like, so if you had to spend 10, 15, 25, 30 grand to get it there, go, if you spend that money, I could get you the 120. Is that something you're willing to do?
Mm-hmm.
I go, well, listen, let's just, then I'll just buy it as it is, but here's why I can do that price. And you just kind of keep going back and forth because everybody talks about what you could do, what the potential is for it. The thing is you have to buy it for what it's worth now.
You have to ask. Like, Brian, are you a Cowboys fan?
I'm not a football guy. I'm sorry.
You're not a football guy? All right.
I'm from California, so if I had to be a guy, I'd be a Niners fan.
All right. Like the closest thing to that is going to be like a lot of people in Dallas like the Cowboys. So letting you know, a lot of your sellers are going to like the Cowboys. So I just checked the Cowboys scores. It helps a lot. I have a lot of sellers that are Cowboys fans in Florida here. You watch a game or you look at something and like you're expecting a result, but a lot of times by you doing it, something crazy happens in the other end, right? So like, for example, I've had deals where the sellers wanted so much stinking money for the house over the phone. I go in person, I get the thing locked up for 60% of that because what they said over the phone is completely different than in person, right?
Yeah, especially when you get
you
there.
don't know.
People front you, like they tell you like what you want to hear is like the highest price, and you get there. So here's I feel like we're kind of overloading them with techniques, but
yeah.
So Brian, like when you look around a property and do the iPod,
I'm like a sponge.
He can watch the recording on this.
Yeah,
so.
just like if you got it, like when I have smelly properties, I'm instantly like covering my nose or doing something like. And this just when it's bad, dude, I'll just start doing the face. You just rub the forehead. So any of you guys are fathers out there, you know what I mean? When you rub the forehead, you're like, oh my God, what am I getting into? And listen, if you're buying a property that's run down, you're getting into it. So the physical negotiations are just as important as the verbal. Remember, 70% of your communication is nonverbal. So like I know when you're having a conversation, somebody runs their forehead like this, like there's something not right with it. And so sometimes you build it up. Hence, if I walk in a house that's perfect, I take them outside immediately. I have no traction there.
No point.
If it's bad, I kind of like you guys ever had the dog where you just kind of like push their business in it when they do something bad? Like that's kind of the same technique. I know that's terrible.
I've never done that to your dog.
My dog's like a diva, but it's like sometimes dogs are bad and they make them like do
I would
that.
never do that. That's evil.
But in a way, like if you're going to try to sell me like a crappy property and try to give me a retail price, I'm like, well, either you fix it up,
to do that to the sellers,
or I just sit there and go, oh my God, what am I getting into?
It's not the best dog training technique, but it's a good analogy.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's not good, but it works.
So Brian, practice it. Like whenever you go to their house, I've gotten pretty good at it, but it's just like, and you're not doing it. You're just doing that kind of to yourself, but the seller can kind of see it. And they're like, oh, shoot.
You kind of walk around with a notepad when you're looking and like take any
I don't
notes.
do that. No.
It's distracting when
That's
you
distracting.
do that. They look at your facial features more than anything.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when you're like kind of rubbing your head, you're like, and you're just kind of giving that scrunchy face the whole time.
You can't do it all
too
the
much,
time.
but like you're not acting.
Much,
like if you walk in like I've walked in some houses where I can't breathe. I'm like, we got to take it outside. This is bad. So
what I was thinking was taking some pictures and stepping outside to call my partner, and kind of using that to set up the partner as the bad guy, like you were saying, Zach, and just say, hey, based on this and that.
That's not bad.
he used to call me outside the house all the time. He's like, he goes, just shut up and go with it. And he's like, because sometimes if you don't have a dial tone or they don't see you calling someone, you will get busted. So if you're going to call someone, guys, call somebody. Like, don't fake it.
I used to
it's
call
too
you.
transparent.
I remember I was 19. I used to call you and be like, how much is the drywall house again?
Yeah, he was just
I
like,
used to like, you're like, wait, what? I'm like,
is Chinese
go with it.
drywall a big deal? If the house is leaning sideways, do we get a deeper discount? I'm like, good Lord.
like,
but you just learn over time, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys. I'm ready to execute this.
Yeah, let us know how it works out. You got it. Just have a conversation and engage them and try to create a win-win situation.
Last thing for you, do not have the contract in your hand until you agree on a price. Go back into your car, get the contract.
Right.
I'm telling you.
It's a big difference.
Yeah, big difference.
Okay, another quick one. So I've been doing all the techniques you talk about all the time, Zach, about driving for dollars and reverse driving for dollars. I've been calling government lists. I've been door knocking foreclosures, basically all the free ones. But coming up in January, I got about $1,000 to spend. And I was thinking about spending it on direct mailers, but I've been hearing that, direct mailers aren't that great in my area. Do you think I'd be better off spending my $1,000 on hiring some VAs to do some cold calling, or what do you think I should do with my $1,000?
The best way to spend $1,000, honestly, is reverse drawing for dollars. Like that's straight up the best one. The second
problem
best
is
one,
I watch my kids during the day, so I don't get that many hours during the week to be driving around.
Fine. So the second best one is, you got car seats. So, but that's for a different story. Gas for drawing for dollars would be the best one. The second best one, honestly, I could probably say is probate mailers. I think that would probably be the best ROI. If you're going to spend money and you only have $1,000, probate mailers, they'll probably get you.
I'm doing that already.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just slow. There's not a lot of them, and they just take time.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
So the challenge,
handwritten, baby.
Yeah, the challenge with direct mail is you're probably going to need a bigger budget than $1,000 just for honest transparency, because you can't just shoot out 300 or 400 letters and like cross your fingers. So that's why he's giving you kind of the reverse
also,
driving for dollars.
Brian, because do you have a printer at home?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can actually just print. I won't handwrite them.
I got my envelopes handwritten, and then I got probate Rick's formula. So I printed it out, and I got the big blue marker signature.
Okay, make sure you use the letter wave at freewholesaling.com.
Yeah, that's the one I got.
Yeah, go to the freewholesaling.com one, and because he shifted it a little more, and then make sure you sign the bottom of it, and then I think you're fine. We print the envelopes too. We don't really see a huge difference.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I'm doing one. So Dallas County is one of the biggest counties in the country. So there's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm doing Dallas, and then closer county is smaller. There's only 120, so I'm handwriting those to save a little money.
Beautiful, man. I like it. And then all the little counties within an hour, you're good to go. Wherever you're getting this appointment, dude, do that one too.
Okay, so you guys think that basically gas for driving for dollars? I do have a gas guzzler. I've tried with my kids. They're 3 and 1, so more than an hour in the car, man, is pretty rough.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah.
I've done it 4 or 5 hours, and they basically cry the whole time.
Yeah, not worth it. That's
That's
borderline child abuse to the kids when they're.
I did take my son, my 1-year-old son, up to the door knocking foreclosures, and that worked pretty good.
Yeah, I'd probably avoid that one.
Yeah,
but,
I'd be careful there.
Hey, I'll
I
probably
was not going to answer the door for a guy with a baby.
Hey,
I know. I wouldn't advise that for
I wouldn't
anybody
advise
else
that
out
one.
here. I just like dude, like it's your kid, your decision.
I didn't
but,
tell
like,
my wife. I didn't
guys,
tell
please, yeah, please don't be using like your kids for trade bait to get the door open. It's just too risky, in
Yeah,
my
but-
opinion.
honestly, man, I'd probably use that for drawing for dollars, reverse drawing for dollars, and then the probate mailers. Go hard on the pain on those. I think that's the best one.